Welcome to Done Different. I'm Billy D, and today we'll be going over every single one of my boxes I have and what it's going to take to get them going and what my plans are for them in the future, starting now. So I'm going to start in order with the most recent purchases all the way back to the oldest purchases or the oldest acquisitions when it comes to the fleet. So the most recent purchases, of course, was the Grand Prix, which you guys have seen plenty of. So for the most part, it is pretty much done. It is going to be driven the way that it is. I will continue to race it in rallycross events until it craters. It's got 245,000 miles on it. It has, a bad lifter tick problem. It's got a water leak somewhere, which I will diagnose and fix in the next video, actually. But besides that, it's pretty much finished, and we drive it around. It's finally tagged and use it to pick up the kids from school. It's a great little around town car, and then of course for the rallycross events. So this one probably going to keep in the fleet for the foreseeable future, although I may end up selling it at some point. This is my 1998 Chevrolet Metro. I bought this at the same auction that I bought the Grand Prix at, and I paid $350 for this one. Now this one you're probably going to start seeing a lot of on the channel here pretty soon. I've got a lot of work to do to this. As you can tell, the front end's been wrecked, so I've got a lot of parts I need to replace. Maybe some I won't. Maybe I'll just take off. May throw some wheels and tires on this from an ATV and a few other small things to kind of make it a safari version of a Metro. But this is definitely going to be a project you'll see more of here on the channel. Don't have any intentions on selling this immediately, but I might sell it later this year. As you guys will remember, last fall I picked up these two jet skis from the YouTube channel Watch JR Go, and have not yet got to them. As we're getting into warmer weather, this will definitely be at the top of the list for videos coming out here over the next couple of months. I'm gonna get these things on the water and have a little fun with them before we flip them and try to make a little money off of them. In March of 2022, I bought this 1985 Chevy G30 Shasta RV. Now I know that there are a lot of you that have really wanted me to get started on this and want to see this on the channel. I know there are a ton of people that are interested in this project. I will be getting to this very, very soon. My plan is to start working on this no later than middle May, and hopefully work all the way through the summer and get this thing complete and on the road so I can take it on some trips and to some gamblers in the fall. If you haven't seen my video on this that I made a year ago when I bought it, go check that out. It'll be in the link in the description below. It'll show you the shape that this thing is in. The interior is destroyed and half of it is removed. Going to need to completely rebuild this thing from the outside in, and then I haven't even really gotten to the mechanical side of it yet. I know that it needs an alternator, but the engine runs strong, so we'll see. We will revisit this project here very soon, so make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't, click that subscription button, click that notification bell so you know when I drop a video, because I will be bringing a video out on this within the next month or two. Up next is the 2000 Monte Carlo, which I bought at auction for $550 at the same time that I bought the Uplander and the Suburban. Noticing a theme here? Anyways, as you guys remember from my Hoopty Cross videos, this was the car I raced in those back in 2021. I blew the transmission shortly after that, so it has sat ever since. I bought the Grand Prix, hoping that I could pull some parts off of this, which I have, including the wheels and tires, maybe eventually the spacers. But for now, it's gonna sit here and continue to be a parts car and eventually get sent off to the scrapper here, probably at some point this summer. In the spring of 2021, when I purchased the Monte Carlo and the Suburban, I also ended up purchasing this Chevy Uplander van. It runs, but it needs a radiator, at the very least, maybe some hoses, but it does run. I do intend to get this running and sold this year. As of right now, in the last couple of years, it's our pool storage van, or pool storage hut. For now, it'll sit here and continue to do that until I get to this, which will be after the jet skis, the Metro, the go-kart, and a little bit of work on the Grand Prix. So it's on the list. It'll get done soon. Again, this is just going to be something I'm going to fix up as good as I can and try to sell it, or maybe end up keeping it and using it as the family holiday. This 2003, 2002, 2000 Chevy Suburban GMT 800 two-wheel drive, I bought at an impound auction at the same time that I bought the Monte Carlo and the Chevy Uplander. This truck has probably seen the most action on the channel. I originally bought this truck to take the motor out of it and put it in my 2004 4x4 Suburban, and did not realize that I actually ended up buying something that had a whole lot more miles on it than I thought. 300 and something thousand miles, a completely rebodied vehicle. That's why it's 3 different vehicles. It actually has 4 different VIN numbers, including the new rebodied VIN, which is what I own it under. This truck has been through all sorts, as you guys have seen here on the channel. I've rolled it, I've off-roaded it, I've taken family trips in it. It has been a great truck for the $750 I spent on it. Definitely got my money's worth out of this one. The suspension is shot. You have that major lifter tick issue from the pickup ring in the oil pan. I probably am gonna fix that, gonna replace that pickup ring. But besides that, I don't really plan on doing any other work to this. I'm not gonna throw the money in to replace the windshield, the windows, to get the thing up to snuff, replace the suspension. I mean, that would be several $1,000s that it's just not worth putting into this. So I'll probably continue to drive it till it dies, or sell it or scrap it. That remains to be seen. Next up is the 94 Chevrolet Cheyenne C2500 3/4 ton Chevy pickup, long bed regular cab. Boy, that's a mouthful. So as you guys can tell, this is the workhorse around here. This is what I use to jump the cars. This is what I use to haul with. I use this truck a lot. I bought this in November of 2020 from the state auction. This was actually a Department of Human Services vehicle that was, as far as I can tell, its entire life was spent on a construction site outside of Ardmore, Oklahoma. And I purchased it for $1,500, got a smoking deal on it. It had 93,000 miles when I bought it. It now has 99,700 and something, so just shy of 100,000 miles. This truck is absolutely amazing. The only real issues I've had with it was that wire, which you guys saw in the last video. Got that taken care of, and now it is just back to being its regular workhorse self. So not a whole lot that I really plan on doing to this, except for, as you guys can tell, I had started sanding it down, and I sanded down about 80% of it. And honestly, I kind of like the way it looks now. I definitely need to either seal it or finish sanding it down and repaint it. but that's a project for another time. I may or may not get to that this year. This 2004 Suburban 4x4 I bought back in February of 2017 and was our daily driver and family car for about 4 years before the engine cratered. And as I mentioned with the other Suburban, was planning on swapping the other Suburban's motor into this one. Still don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but again, if I do sell the other one, I'll probably put them both up for sale together as a package deal. As for now, it'll continue to sit here until I deal with it, which hopefully will be here towards the end of the summer. One of the original cars here on the channel, the 1993 S10 convertible with the flatbed that I think I originally paid $1,000 for. As you guys know, I have gone through this truck trying to figure out why it won't run for the last 2 years. Still can't get it to run. Haven't figured out what the issue is. I think it's probably something to do with the distributor, which I replaced and still isn't running. Regardless, this is sitting here for now. Don't really have any plans for it. Probably going to scrap it, keep the bed, and put it on something else. Almost the oldest vehicle that I own, or at least the vehicle that I have owned the longest in the fleet, my 2000 Chevy Blazer ZR2. Now this truck has a special sentimental place in my heart because it is the newest vehicle I've ever bought. It only had 6,000 miles on it when I bought it in 2003. It is the nicest vehicle that I've ever owned. It is the most capable vehicle that I've ever owned, and I've driven it to 40 plus states. I absolutely love my Blazer. Now, a few years back, I blew the transmission on it. The suspension is already out. The back glass is busted out. Tailgate needs to be replaced. The intake gasket needs to be done. Probably needs a full tune-up. And so it has sat for the last 4 or 5 years. Now I do start it up, drive it around. It does have first and reverse, but that's it. I drive it around the property. I get it warmed up. I make sure and burn through about a tank of gas every couple of years. I also put stable in the gas. She still runs fine. She still drives great in first gear and reverse, but I just keep her from moving trailers around here on the property. And then eventually I am going to do a full, complete rebuild on this truck, make it a Baja style truck, make the top removable, and all sorts of cool custom work to make this thing absolutely unique. But that's for 3 or 4 years down the line. For now, it's going to continue to get warmed up and driven around the property every couple of months, and eventually we will get to this, but probably not in 2023. I will, however, be making a video about this coming up soon here within the next 2 or 3 months, telling the story of this vehicle, how I bought it, all of the different things I did in it, and all of the trials and tribulations I've gone through owning this vehicle. It is absolutely a story-packed vehicle in the last 20 years that I've owned it. Last but certainly not least, my first car that I got when I was 12 years old, my 1978 Chevy Malibu Classic. It was actually given to me by my grandmother when she stopped driving. She gave it to me. I sat on it for 4 years. As soon as I turned 16, this was my daily driver for 3 years. I parked it in 2002-ish, so about 21 years, and it's been here ever since. I'm afraid of what kind of damage may have been done to the frame or the unibody from possible rust and rot. I tried to get into it to kind of start going through it and maybe move it, and I got the key stuck in the lock. They flipped over, but wouldn't flip back to unlock it. And I don't want to break them off, so I've left it in it. Eventually, I will figure out how to get it open without breaking the key off. As for now, this is pretty much at the bottom of the list. It will get dealt with and at least moved this year, but my plan is to do a full resto mod on this, strip it completely down to the bare body, and basically start over and build it into somewhat of a street race car sort of thing. But again, that's going to be a while. We're probably 4 or 5 years off from even starting this project, but definitely going to try to get it moved this year and get it in the garage. So there you have it. There's my collection of shit boxes and what my plans are for them here coming up. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like if you did. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you think of my fleet of shit boxes. Billy D, peacing on out of here. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.